Today, we're talking about insurance, and this definitely fits in with making money with Laura Sanders, because if you get sued, guess what? They're taking your money, and we don't want them to take your money. So let's talk about umbrella policies. When does somebody need an umbrella policy?
Stacked insurance, what you're referring to is uninsured motorists. Uninsured motorist is really to protect you and your family household in the event of 3 different situations that would occur in an accident.
I'm hearing so much crazy information like Citizens is going up, Citizens is coming down. Like, what's the truth?
Part of the reason why policy premiums had gone up so much over the years is because it used to be where if the other party prevailed, meaning if the plaintiff prevailed, then the insurance company would have to pay the insurance company's attorney's fees and the plaintiff's attorney's fees. So they were getting hit with all of the attorney fees at that time. A lot of times what we were seeing is that the actual attorney fees were 4 or 5 times as much as the actual claim would have been.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Every week we talk about something to help you make a little money, save a little money, or maybe just help you navigate this crazy world. And I have to tell you, it's definitely crazy, but we manage it the best we can. Anyway, today we're going to talk about insurance, and I'm here with Mark Gordon from MDS Insurance. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
MDS. So what are your kids' names?
Well, it's Mark, Dylan, and Samantha.
Okay. So that is the name of his insurance company. He is a local insurance agent. He can help you with anything out throughout the state of Florida.
Correct.
So you do homeowners. Do you do life insurance?
Yep, we do life insurance. We do all property and casualty products, including commercial.
Car insurance?
Car insurance. We do life insurance also.
Okay.
We do umbrella insurance, boat insurance, RV, anything that's related to personal lines insurance, like home, auto, RV, umbrella. It could be a renter's policy. It could be a dwelling fire policy, which is like a landlord policy.
Okay.
And any type of commercial product, general liability, business owners, property coverage.
So let's talk about umbrella policies.
Okay.
When does somebody need an umbrella policy?
When somebody has significant assets that are not protected, when I say not protected, meaning that if you have assets, like your home is homesteaded, so nobody could actually garnish or take away your home.
Okay.
If you have assets within, let's say, a 401k or a pension or annuity, nobody can actually go after those funds because they're protected.
Okay.
But let's say you have other properties.
Okay.
And let's say you have stocks and bonds that are not part of a retirement account. Those are all fair play for a lawsuit. If somebody were to negligently hurt somebody or kill somebody in, let's say, a car crash.
But people can make a claim for no matter anything, right?
Well, correct. However, there are the economic thresholds that need to be pierced in order for somebody's umbrella policy to kick in, which means that the underlying auto insurance, the injuries that are sustained by the party has to exceed the policy limits. Okay, and once those policy limits are sustained, then somebody can go after the umbrella policy. Now, the reason why you want an umbrella policy is, number one, if you have a lot of assets that are not protected, you have young children that just started driving and they're going away to college and they're driving, because the umbrella policy protects you not only in your automobile, but you as an individual and all your resident relatives. So that means if your child is away at college and they get belligerently drunk and they get into a bar fight and they started it and they severely injure somebody in the bar fight, then you're going to be sued under your homeowner's policy.
Wait a minute. So if my son is away in another state at college, and he gets into a fight in a bar, and he hurts another kid, let's say he breaks his jaw,
You can be sued.
my homeowner's insurance
You
is
can
going
be
to cover
sued.
that?
You can be sued, yes. Yep,
That's interesting.
yep.
And so whatever.
Now, as long as he started the fight, okay?
How do you
he's
prove that, though? You could have,
Well,
like...
you'll have witnesses and that'll be present, but you know, if it's determined that it was more self-defense or more mutually combative, then you know there's the possibility that you won't. But people are going to try no matter what.
Right.
You know, so, and then if you're a high wage earner, and even let's say you do have your assets protected in those other instruments I discussed, if you're a high wage earner like a doctor or anybody else that makes significant money, if you don't have an umbrella policy and the injuries sustained by somebody are in excess of the auto policy limits, then they can garnish your wages.
So, but I also was told, and you correct me if I'm wrong, that umbrella policies don't want to cover people that have Airbnbs.
There are certain carriers that will not accept certain types of properties. Like if it's a secondary residence or you own some rental properties that are in an LLC, then you're going to want to get what they call commercial umbrella policy.
Oh, so there's a separate kind.
There's separate kind. There's a personal one, which is for your personal properties, and then you can have commercial umbrellas for commercial properties that are like in the name of an LLC or potentially a business.
So what does something like this cost for somebody?
Well, depending on how many vehicles they have, how many drivers are on the policy, and how many residents they own, or even boats, jet skis, motorcycles.
Oh, wow, yeah.
There's a lot of factors that go into it. But $1 million policy on average of somebody that doesn't have anything other than maybe 2 vehicles, 2 kids, primary residence, and really that's it, it's usually under $1,000 a year for $1 million.
Okay.
It can go up significantly higher if you do have young kids that are of driving age, because that's obviously with regular car insurance, that's the problem always.
Luckily, my son left and went to college with no car.
Right.
Now I just got the other one that just texted and said, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it's scary with children.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
I mean, you know, when they're little, you worry about them falling down the stairs. But when they get older, you start to just worry about a lot more. It's weird.
Yeah, it is
it's so
weird.
you don't know.
Strange.
And it's like your mom tells you, like, I hope you get one just like you.
Yeah. Ain't that the
Mom.
truth?
So
Paybacks.
yes. And
All right, blank.
boy, have I been paid back. So, okay, so let's just talk about, so we're talking about umbrella policies, right? And you have opportunity when, let's say a lot of people do have children driving, right? So you have 3 children. So you probably had 2 driving at one time. So you probably had 4 cars in the house, right?
Correct.
So do you recommend stacked insurance? Explain that and what your thoughts are on that.
So stacked insurance, what you're referring to is uninsured motorists.
Okay.
Uninsured motorist is really to protect you and your family household in the event of 3 different situations that would occur in an accident. 1, the driver hits you and they're at fault, but they don't have enough liability insurance on their policy to cover your injuries and potentially lost wages and pain and suffering. So that'd be one instance where that would come into play while the
So that wouldn't cover if, like, my son got in an accident and hurt somebody else.
That's
stacked.
liability. So the way auto insurance is written is that you have liability first. So let's say, for example, you'd carry 100-300 liability coverage, which means that the policy is going to pay up to $100,000 per person in that vehicle, with a maximum payout of $300,000 in the aggregate. So there could be multiple people in the car that maybe, God forbid, your son hit and hurt.
So if there's 5 people,
it would get split up amongst 5 people with a maximum payout of $300,000. Correct. Okay. Uninsured motorist is protecting you and your resident relatives. So like I said, in the instance, if somebody hit you and they were only carrying 10,000 or 20,000 and your injuries are severe, then you can file a claim against your own insurance company for the difference. Yeah. Okay. The other 2 scenarios that can happen is somebody doesn't have insurance at all, which we see constantly in Florida.
It's crazy.
Or it's a hit and run. Okay. Or you're a pedestrian walking across the street. Okay.
Which is happening a lot lately.
Correct.
Too.
Now, what the stacked version offers you is that, in simple terms, if you carry 100-300, it stacks those coverages on top of each individual car.
Okay.
So that car will get even more coverage. Now, on an individual vehicle, I always recommend doing stacked insurance because it provides a much broader base of coverage. Because if you don't have stacked uninsured motorist on a single vehicle and you're a passenger in another vehicle and you get hurt, you can't use your uninsured motorist unless you have the stacked version.
Well, I don't understand that. That's confusing.
Because you're in somebody else's vehicle, you're not on their policy, and that's the reason why you have to have stacked. And if you're away, like in another state, and you're walking across the street and you get hit by a car, you can use your uninsured motorist to do that because it's a single vehicle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So you would recommend stack to people. It's not that much more, right?
It on a single vehicle, it's really not that much more money.
Okay.
But if you do have 3 or 4 vehicles, it can be costly. Now, obviously, if you had 100, 300 non-stacked on 4 vehicles, is that sufficient? To a point. Basically, what's going to happen is you're going to get your medical bills covered. You're going to hopefully get some compensatory damages for your pain and suffering and your lost wages. However, we also have to take into consideration the fact that when you file a claim against an insurance carrier for $100,000, that the attorney's going to get 33% if they don't file suit. So now you're down to like 70,000. Let's just round it up for easy numbers. So your actual claim that you're actually, the amount of money you're getting might only be 40, might only be 45 or 50, depending on your medical bills. But it can help you with, like you said, lost wages, loss of income, but it's not a golden parachute to wealth.
Right. And no. But I also look at this as everybody should plan, because you don't know. As my father used to say, an accident is exactly what it is, an accident. You don't know what's going to happen.
Correct.
So you want to make sure that you've planned and protected yourself in advance, so that, like I used to do big parties at my house. I used to get insurance.
Yeah, event insurance.
Yeah, and it'd be $350 for the night, and it would even cover if somebody went on a bender for 3 days after the party.
Yeah.
So like they came to my house, they had a couple of drinks, now they went out all night, they were drinking, they kept drinking for 2 more days, and then they'd be covered.
Right, and then it would cause an accident and kill somebody, and then they're going to come back to you.
Say, I was at Laura's house 2 days later.
Correct, yeah.
But,
the other thing that's good about uninsured motorists as well, going back to that real quick, is that if you don't have it and you get into a car accident and you get hurt, obviously your personal injury protection is going to pay up to $10,000. It's a no-fault state. However, can you imagine not having uninsured motorists, but now you're responsible for your own out-of-pocket medical bills?
Yeah, your health insurance
will cover it. However, let's say you have a $40,000 bill, but your maximum out-of-pocket on your policy is $12,000, and you have a $40,000 bill. You're going to have to come up with that $12,000 to pay your medical bills.
Yeah, it's scary.
It is.
And I have to tell you, things happen every day. I just like, I'm a realtor. So by the way, if you're thinking about buying or selling a home, you definitely want to call me, Laura Sanders with RE/MAX Direct. Don't make a move without me. And ChatGPT says you should call me too. For me, it's all about planning. Like even like being a realtor, driving all the time, there's so much liability out there.
Correct.
So I always say that just like even like being prepared if your parents are going to die, like you want to have things in place to make sure you're protected in the long run.
Correct. Like even for you, you're a real estate agent, and you drive around all the time, and you're holding yourself out for business. And sometimes you even have passengers in your vehicle.
I try not to do that, and I think it's a very smart thing. I have had older people are a little bit taken aback by that because they're so used to old school, but honestly, it's a liability. It's dangerous, and somebody could hit me from behind. Now I still have you in my car, and I don't know. It's just there's so much to be careful of.
So you're using your car
today.
for business use. So obviously,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it's okay. But yeah, it's obviously, if you can't avoid it, it's obviously better for you, not to have a passenger in your vehicle if you can.
I have to say, I've only been in, this is wood, well, no, it's probably MDF, but I've only been in one accident while I've been working for the last 26 years, and it was actually this past year, and crazy enough, I was not on my phone, I was not texting, I was not doing anything. Lady decided it was raining out, she decided to stop in the middle of the street. I did try to swerve to miss her. I tapped her a little bit on the
bumper.
On the bumper, and which is so funny because somebody was telling me the other day how somebody said it was like a feather touch, and that somebody was describing this, and I laughed because I was like, yeah, it was a feather touch. Like, I did more damage to my own car than I did to her.
Right.
So.
And don't be surprised.
She's suing me.
She's
suing me. And by the way, I didn't get a ticket. And I had video showing that she was stopped in the middle of an intersection.
Yeah, now she's going to sue you for
And
injuries.
even if she stopped because there was traffic, she should never have gone into the middle of the intersection. She should have stayed behind.
Correct, especially if it's you're not supposed to make a turn and wait in the middle of an intersection.
Oh, she wasn't. Oh, yeah. And that's something else. That's a little confusing too, because most people, we have to get up.
Most people will go into the because if there's cars coming the other way and you kind of want to get ahead of it so that once there's an opening you can go. You actually are not supposed to do that. You're supposed to sit at the light until all the vehicles that are coming the other direction, there is no more, and then you make the turn. So that can cause an issue with the claim too, that you're in the intersection and you're not supposed to be.
Yeah, she should have gotten the ticket, but she was screaming at me. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. Anyway, we're going to go to commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about insurance and what we need to protect ourselves. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Check out our sponsors.
At JK Closing Attorneys, we do all of the same things that a title company does, but with the benefits of being a law office. We can help with residential real estate, short sales, commercial real estate, refinances, 1031 exchanges, and FIRPTA withholding.
Contact JK Closing Attorneys today at 954-332-3111. Again, that is 954-332-3111.
Priority One Credit Union of Florida is a welcoming credit union that makes your financial success our number one priority. We offer lower loan rates, higher deposit rates, and common sense local loan approvals, with nationwide access through shared branching.
Hi, I'm Dina Hennessy, President and CEO at Priority One Credit Union. We are open to the community. Anyone can be a member of our credit union, and we would love to have you.
Contact us today at 954-335-5100. You can also reach us at PriorityOneFL.org. Your financial success is our priority. That's 954-335-5100.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Today, we're talking about insurance, and this definitely fits in with Making Money with Laura Sanders, because if you get sued, guess what? They're taking your money, and we don't want them to take your money. So I'm here with Mark Gordon. He is with his own insurance company. So, what's great about that is you can get him on his cell. He cares very much about his business. He's very informative. When he gets on the phone with me, he's really getting it all, he's really diving into the crux of it. And I'm like, I just want an answer. I don't. But it's good. It's good because I think a lot of people, type A personality. I'm type A personality, but sometimes that type A, we're so busy, we don't know what's going on. So I think though it's good for that type A personality that wants to understand why this policy, why does it cost this much? Especially your homeowners, you want to understand there's been a lot of changes in the market in the last few years. And now as somebody that I believe as a professional that's in this all the time, I'm hearing so much crazy information Citizens is going up, Citizens is coming down. What's the truth?
Well, the truth is that every carrier tries to file a rate increase almost every year. Now, with the legislative changes that occurred in 2022 and 2023, which eliminated the one-way attorney fees, it has changed the landscape of the market dramatically to the extent where we are now seeing carriers actually reducing rates. And we're also seeing carriers come into the marketplace that weren't here before. So there are more insurance carriers now today than there were 5 years ago, threefold.
So let's go back and let's explain to our listeners, when you talk about getting rid of the one-way attorney's fee, explain that a little bit more in depth so they understand what you're talking about.
So part of the reason why policy premiums had gone up so much over the years is because it used to be where if the other party prevailed, meaning if the plaintiff prevailed, then the insurance company would have to pay the insurance company's attorney's fees and the plaintiff's attorney's fees. So they were getting hit with all of the attorney fees at that time. So a lot of times what we were seeing is that the actual attorney fees were 4 or 5 times as much as the actual claim would have been, because an attorney just keeps going and going and going until they settle it. Well, they got rid of that. And they got rid of that to stabilize the insurance industry so that more carriers would come in and be more attractive landscape for the insurance companies to come in, and also help provide the policy premiums to go down. So now what happens is when you file a claim, you can still use a public adjuster and you can still use an attorney. However, if you prevail, you're still paying your attorney fees yourself. So even if you lose, you still pay your own attorney fees. Even if you win, you still pay your own attorney's fees. Now, that obviously has an impact on if you have a public adjuster that's involved, which you give them a percentage usually of the recovery. The public adjusters sometimes need to go to an attorney to get some information. But if it's a good, solid case, then, it should be okay. However, it's preventing people, the downside is that it's preventing people to file a claim against a carrier that otherwise has denied their claim, but they can't afford the attorney fees.
But let's say, for instance, right, you hire a public adjuster. A public adjuster has a relationship with an attorney, right? So the public adjuster has the attorney saying, all right, I think this is a good case, so I'm going to go after it. So you have an agreement with the public adjuster's attorney that even if they lose, you don't have to pay them, right?
No. So you're hiring the attorney usually on your own and the public adjuster. Now, if the public adjuster is hiring an attorney on your behalf to help his case, there's still a situation where you're going to be responsible for attorney's fees and for the premium, because
But if you lose, you still have to pay the attorney's fee for the other.
Right. Correct.
For the.
Not for the insurance company,
No?
just your own.
Oh, okay.
It's only just for you.
But so you would want to find you would want to find a insurance claims person that has a relationship with an attorney that would say that even if you don't win, we're not going to charge you. Because I've seen that in the past.
That can happen. I mean, if you you can work something out.
Yeah, that's a negotiation.
There are ways where there are still some property attorneys that will do it on a contingency for recovery purposes, just like personal injury attorneys.
Right, okay.
So they may say, okay, well, I'm going to
So be careful of that.
Correct.
Yeah,
you want to know up
yeah.
front. You want to know up front,
So just be very clear that, because I feel like some people get involved in this stuff and they really don't know what their liability
I mean,
is.
yes, you could be giving up more than you really want to if you don't read the fine print or you don't read the contract, and that can cause a problem financially.
And I know our time's starting to get ready to run out, so I just want to make sure that you let people know if they're looking for an umbrella policy, homeowners insurance, car insurance, life insurance. Do you do whole life too?
Yeah, we do everything.
Okay. So what would be a good number for them to get a hold of you at?
They can call my office or my direct line. My office number is 954-227-6970.
Do it slower.
They can call my office at 954-227-6970.
I've just had feedback that I talk too fast, so I thought that was like a New Yorker kind of. Are you from New York, Mark?
No.
Okay. I just thought it was a quick talker, And if you are looking for a top agent, you definitely want to give me a call, Laura Sanders, Remax Direct, 954-650-0827. Just want to make sure we get that out there because we never want people to make a move without me. I just got to what am I here for if I'm not telling you what to do, right?
Right.
What are you here for if we're not telling them to call us? Like, why are we here?
Right.
Sorry, that was my good sense of humor of the day. I find it funny. Anyway, so I think it's important. Everything we talked about today is super important, like just understanding about umbrella policies, understanding about, stacked for your car insurance, and having somebody like yourself that can read this for the person.
Correct.
Understanding the difference.
Yeah, there are a lot of nuances in homeowner policies nowadays, and they're even in car insurance, that you really need to
Water coverage.
Right.
Mold coverage.
Correct. There are limitations in a policy, and really a lot of times, the insured, they have no clue.
So I'll give you, since we got a few minutes, right? I'll give you a scenario that happened to me this week, and you tell me what you think. So I bought an investment property about 2 years ago, and I was told that it had, it was an older house, that it didn't have cast iron anymore. It had, not poly, regular plastic piping,
Okay, PVC.
PVC. Well, come to find out, only half of the house had PVC. The other half was still cast iron. So the pipes just started literally leaking throughout the entire house coming up from everywhere. So I would imagine, well, I'm not imagining, I'm telling you, my policy only had $10,000 of water coverage. So it cost me, now my luxury vinyl's wet. I had to literally rip all the pavers outside up to get underneath the house. Like,
yeah, it's an unfortunate thing. That's been around now for a while, where there's limitations on water damage of $10,000. However, there are a lot of carriers that are now coming into the state of Florida that are offering full water up to 40 years. Now, if you are in one of those unfortunate situations where you can only get $10,000 limited water damage coverage, I always tell people, invest in an automatic water shut-off valve system, because it'll automatically turn the water off on your house if it detects a leak underneath the sink or even in the wall. So it's a little bit of an investment, but it can save you thousands of dollars if you have only $10,000.
but you're still obligated to change all your plumbing yourself.
Depending on the carrier, some carriers will allow it, but yes, I mean, from a perspective of making sure that you don't have to deal with that, yeah, cast iron can, as it gets older, obviously it deteriorates. So yeah, you need to replumb the house, whether it's PEX or PVC. But yeah, I wouldn't live with cast iron or polybutylene piping.
Yeah. And polybutylene piping is a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah. So I want to thank you so much for coming out
Thank
today.
you for having me.
And we've learned so much today. Again, as always, thank you so much for listening to Making Money with Laura Sanders. And until next week, make it a great night.